Barney and the boys are back. Cover Killer Nation. And no, we're not speaking about Barney from How I Met Your Mother. We're not speaking about Barney Rubble. We're talking about Barney and Napalm Death. With their 15th studio album, Utilitarian, which is coming out here in the coming few days. Next Tuesday, the 28th of February, one day before the infamous leap day, February 29th. Now, I told you this is their 15th studio album, and they've been a long-running grindcore band ever since the latter part of the 1980s, and their sound is just been considered to be extremely influential, not to mention absolutely brilliant. And the last couple of albums that Napalm Death has released have really received a lot of high accolade. It's gotten a lot of high praise from both old school metal fans and new school metal fans alike. There's been a lot of respect given by the new school, and of course, the respect always has been paid by the old school, and it continues to grow and blossom. This has been a band that, for the past couple of years, over on Metal Storm, has won Grindcore Album of the Year with their previous 3 releases in a row now, and I have a strong feeling, that this album right here is a very strong candidate for 4 in a row. This is an album that's going to come in multiple different formats. There's going to be an LP format, there's going to be a CD format, there's going to be digital formats, there's going to be this, that, these, and those. So that's going to be the variance on the number of tracks on there. There's 16 tracks on the album that I have sampled. There are some versions that are going to have 18, and one that's going to have upwards of 19 tracks. Some may be more, some may be less, depending on the format. I know that the LP version is going to have an extra track that I did not get a chance to sample, but I got to sample enough to know that this is a badass album. This is a fantastic album. Napalm Death in the 2000s and now here in the 2010s have just been on an incredible roll lately. Not just on Metal Storm, not just there, but just whenever you really think about everything that's happened ever since albums such as, the Curse the Crawl EP, which came off of Diatribes. There we go. It's just been an onward and ever upward, so to speak. A lot of people didn't like Diatribes or were kind of impartial to it. I kind of liked the album. Whenever I first got it, I didn't really dig it all that much, as opposed to their elder material, which is kind of weird because Diatribes is a little bit leaning more toward conventional metal as opposed to going all-out grindcore. But I really enjoyed albums like Scum and things like that. So whenever you go back to that, it's just a really different formula. Now you fast forward about 20 years and you get into 2007 and now into 2012, so 25 years later, and you just notice that this is a band that continues to take something that they have created and tweak it in ways that are so minor that you can recognize that it's Napalm Death instantaneously without any sort of trouble. But at the same time, they're still a musically growing and evolving band where they're in this little cycle right now where they are a band that's taking part in the whole wall of noise, the whole just, the sound wars, so to speak, but they're using it in a very productive manner. They're using it in order to enhance their sonic experience. They're not using it to attempt to just create rubbish. They're using it to try to build a dynamic with all the tracks and also try to experiment a little bit. There's some sort of demented wind instrument being used on one of the early tracks on this album, and also there sounds to be a guest vocalist on this affair as well. And kudos to you if you can name who the guest vocalist may be. This is something where this is information and it's not even available yet. It's kind of cool. It's just something that you have to use your ear and think to yourself, wow, who does that really sound like? Is there a guest at all? It sounds like there is, but is there? Really, really cool little dynamic. This is 16 tracks of just raw, unadulterated Napalm Death doing what Napalm Death does best, and that's combining the elements of hardcore punk and grind in order to create a style of grindcore that is just absolutely easy as pie to disseminate from any other genre of metal. Napalm Death is one of those bands that you can pick out of a lineup in a hurry. And it's just so trademark, and this is an album that only furthers their legend simply in the fact that it's still extremely well-rooted to sociology, to politics, and it's still very deeply rooted in rebellion. It has all of those different aspects to it. A lot of these songs you could easily hear as rallying cries, as though these should be in all of those really, really big military thrillers or things like that. Either that or these should be something that's in a documentary to really represent just what's wrong with the world and how people are acting Too much like slaves and not enough like men, not enough like individuals. That's what Napalm Death makes you feel. It makes you feel like you're kind of connected with the world of freethinkers on the outside of the little bubble that the government wants you to be surrounded in. It's taking you outside of that comfort level, and you actually enjoy being out there because you forgot, after so many years being just tailor-made into a little drone, you forgot what being an individual is all about. And Napalm Death is really a band that just exhilarates that notion 100%. And Utilitarian is once again another great album to display that. 16 tracks, this is not an album that's going to slow down for anybody. This is something where they don't necessarily have to show a lot of variations in pace because they're aiming for short songs. They're aiming for these things to be quick, to the point, brutal, in your face. Marty Greenway basically wants to walk out, he wants to punch you directly in your throat, kick you directly in the nuts, turn you around, elbow you in the spine, and then stick a boot up your ass. That way you understand just what the fuck he's talking about. It's incredible that this band, after so long, still sounds so young. And that's something that you have to respect and revel about a band like Napalm Death. 8.5 out of 10. This is a really enjoyable listen. This is one that you almost wish would not end whenever you listen to it, because it only spans about 50 minutes. But then again, for a Napalm Death album, that's getting up there. But considering there's only 16 tracks. But it's not really the point. The point is that the message is loud and clear. The delivery is absolutely just boisterous, obnoxious, and fantastic. And let's face it, a lot of bands could really do a lot of good by studying Napalm Death if they want to get into the grindcore business, because these guys have a lot to display. They can show you that you don't need a breakdown every 15 fucking seconds to make a good album, because Napalm Death has been doing this for over 25 years.